Everybody's so serious. Is this being recorded?
Shortly. He's starting it. Okay, now we're starting.
Oh,
The regular board meeting of the Governing Board of Trustees of Romoland School District is called to order at 5:31 p.m. Roll call, Mr. Aguirre,
Here.
Mrs. Kleitz,
Here.
Mr. Reller,
here.
Mr. Sperry,
Here.
and myself, Mrs. Moon, is here. Do we have any public comments for closed session? Nikki?
No, we do not.
Okay. Closed session is called at 5:32 to discuss public employee discipline, dismissal, release, negotiations, and superintendent evaluation. Gavel out.
Hi there. Can you guys hear me okay?
I can.
I can.
I think we're just waiting for Ms. Kleitz to join.
Okay. Yeah, we only had 2 minutes after we got off.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I sent her a text just to make sure she's not having any technical difficulties, but
Okay. Nikki, do we have any public comment?
Just a reminder, everyone, this is streaming. We're just
Okay.
waiting to start the meeting.
Okay. The regular board meeting of Romoland School District reconvenes.
Debbie,
Oh,
I'm sorry to interrupt. We're still waiting for Marla. Just one more minute.
oh, I thought you said it was still streaming or it was going.
It is. I just wanted to let you guys know in case you were chatting while we were waiting to start again.
Okay, thank you.
it looks like we've got everybody in the meeting now, so we can, I think Vince will give you a cue, Mrs. Moon, when you're ready to begin.
He did. The regular board meeting of Romoland School District reconvenes at 6:35 PM. Manny, were there any actions in closed session?
No actions taken.
Okay, I'm going to lead the Pledge of Allegiance and we'll begin now. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I'm going to read the norms. We agree to act with dignity, respect differences, build trust, work as a team, engage the public, focus on the success of every student, and work together for the common good. Governing Board of Trustees reports. Each member, first, Mr. Geary, anything to report?
Nothing to report.
Mrs. Kleitz, anything to report?
Yes, I just might want to make a small comment here about how definitely proud I think I can speak for the board on this, and about how very proud we are of all of our staff for rising together in our commitment to provide the best education possible through this distant learning. And I guess we just really would like them to know that we're incredibly proud of everything that they've done.
Thank you. Mr. Reller, anything to report?
Yes, briefly. Today, I had an opportunity to meet with our California School Boards Association Delegate Assembly from our region. And we were reporting out what was going on in each of our districts. And so I want to tell you some of the things that I was able to share with them. 4,200 kids in the Romoland Elementary School District. All the kids within the first week of school either had their Chromebooks and potential devices or hotspots so they could have access to internet. 530 devices we distributed, probably more by now. 138 hotspots, probably more by now. And we've served over 16,000 meals. And this is a highlight because a lot of school districts are going to once or twice a week for meal distribution. Romoland still does it every day. And I think this is important for our community. Even if we decide to go to once or twice a week, I'm in support of that because it's what the staff believes is right. But I think when our community comes through the schools, it's so important for them to see our school employees there, still there to serve them. They get the kids out of the house. They're able to get that fresh air and a little change of scenery. So I think coming to the schools is very important to get the meals. We talked a lot about how we're providing our instruction. We're doing online as well as paper packets, whatever the parents and students feel more comfortable with. And our teachers are interacting with our students via Google Meets or other Google products because we're a Google certified district. Also, I shared with them that our grading policy of doing no harm, coming from our superintendent of public instruction in California, and how all of our teachers are on board with that and support that. What I thought was really interesting was when I shared that we partner with PBS and our local networks, KVCR, and it's another opportunity for our kids to get access to lessons and information because our lessons are aligned with what PBS and KVCR are showing on the TV. So kids have another opportunity to get instruction. Lastly, we talked a lot about the budget, and we talked about some of the money coming from the state distributing throughout all of the school districts at $100 million. Also talked about Title I, the Federal CARES Act, which is going to providing a percentage of our Title I from the federal government, and also the reimbursement amount for free and reduced lunch. Right now, we're not providing as many meals as we would have during the school year, but our hard costs, our personnel costs are the same. So CSBA is working on our behalf to try to get a waiver to provide us what I would recommend an average of what our meal distribution is during a normal school year to provide that reimbursement. So CSBA is doing a lot of work behind the scenes. It changes every single day. Depends on what time of the day and who's talking to who. But one thing I got out of it, and one thing I'm worried about, is the future budget, because of the tax revenue that we're not getting in the state of California. And as you know from our school services presentation, that is a big part of what makes up the over the revenue coming into the state that Prop 98 takes a cut of. So a lot of interesting things going on, but I would echo Marla's comments about what a great job that our staff is doing. And another big difference between our district and others, every single one of them have an MOU with their teachers, not Romoland. We're partners in this, and we're working together to ensure that our kids are served. And we don't need anything written on paper that says we're going to do what's best for our kids. And I'm so proud of our staff that are doing that. And even though we have an MOU for CSEA, there are some specific things that are required with respect to our support staff, and we want to make sure that they're taken care of and they're safe as well. So those were important things to put down on paper. So I'm in 100% in support of that as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reller. Mr. Sperry.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank Mr. Varela for all that information that he just gave to us. Very informative, and also with Ms. Kleitz, I appreciate her comments and kind of going on her. I really appreciate the teachers and that we have our staff and the parents and everybody working together. The the parents coming forward to get those classroom assignments and continue the learning outside of the classroom the way they are. It just shows the relationship between the teachers and the students and the parents and the teachers, how well it's all working together. Really appreciate their efforts and all they're doing. And, that hopefully this will keep this up and quickly get back to the norm.
Thank you. And I think I echo also Mr. Reller and Mrs. Kleitz in what a tremendous job our faculty, administration, everybody is doing. The fact that they could transition so easily to the online environment really is amazing. I'm higher ed, and we're having trouble getting our faculty on. So the fact that they're prepared, that they have one-to-one devices, and all the support that teachers are providing the students. And I really appreciate also the clear communication and that communication that comes so often from the administrators and the superintendent. I think it really helps ease a lot of our anxiety. And I do have to share, because it happened in my neighborhood, all the Mesa View teachers drove through all of our neighborhoods, and all the kids were so excited. They had signs out, and I can't tell you how long the line of cars was, but it was just a tremendous boost to help the students of our district. And I can't say enough how much that this community has really come together. And it's really terrific to be a part of this community. So now I'm going to call on, and so big thank you, Mr. Payton, for your report.
Thank you, Mrs. Moon. I'm going to echo a few things. Obviously, the closures have caused us to operate a little bit differently. And I want to publicly acknowledge the work being done by our classified staff, our certificated staff, our administrative staff, as well as our students and our parents and guardians at home. It's an unprecedented challenge that we're facing right now. And the cooperation from all entities and working together has helped us transition to a new way of not only teaching and learning for students, but also operating as a district, the operational stuff behind the scenes as well. And we've done that pretty efficiently, I feel, and we're going to knock on wood that we're going to be able to continue that for the rest of the closure. I would also acknowledge that really this couldn't be accomplished without meaningful engagement and conversations with our bargaining units, both RTA and CSEA. They've been a partner with us throughout this process, and it's been great working alongside them. And actually, lastly, I want to thank the board for support. Our transition to distance learning has been fairly seamless, considering everything that we're dealing with. But if you remember a few years back, we asked the board to embrace the implementation of instructional technology into our classrooms. And we asked the board to support the development of our teachers and how to use those technological tools efficiently in their classroom. And the board supported both of those endeavors. And, I really think that has made all of the difference in when it was necessary that we go to an online distance learning model. Both our students and our teachers had the skills to make that happen pretty seamlessly, but that can't happen without the support of the Board of Trustees going back a few years now. So thank you for that.
Okay, we're going to go to public comments and association reports. Nikki, do we have any public comments?
Yes, we do. We have a comment submitted by Isabel Solis, and so I will read into the record on her behalf for the board and staff. Good evening, Board of Trustees, Cabinet, and staff. Tonight, I'd like to thank the Romoland School District for my 18-year teacher career and for the board's approval of my resignation. I am embarking into the next chapter of my life under somewhat dire circumstances. My decision to retire is not without some thought. However, as I've mentioned to some, it's just time. For the last 15 years or so, I've shared with many, both in and outside of the district, the metaphor of describing the Romoland School District as a diamond in the rough, simply because I've recognized the passion, hard work, and dedication for our students, for all of the staff. I also recognize the proactive decisions made by our leadership to benefit all students, including underserved students like our English learners. Over the last 5 years, I've had the opportunity to serve as the English learner coach, or as Ms. Michelle Wise once described me, as the instructional coach of English learner programs, which is more accurate. I remember Mr. Payton asking me in the beginning of my coaching career, how will you know you've been successful? My response was, you'll see our reclassification rates go up. And now, thanks to Trevor and Michelle and their support and the hard work of teachers and administrators, they have steadily climbed, and now for the last 4 years, Romoland School District has been one of the top districts in all of Riverside County. Interestingly, as I reflect, I must say that reclassification was at the top of my questions posed to the interview panel 18 years ago during my interview here. I asked, what is this district's redesignation rate? No one could answer that question at that time, but now all administrators and staff know the answer to that. This in part to the recognition and the support given to me in the area of all matters related to English learners. So Romoland School District is no longer a diamond in the rough, nor is it a hidden gem. I'd like to thank all who have given me respect and kindness. However, before I embark into the next chapter of my life, I'd like to thank Trevor and Michelle for their leadership and the guidance they provided me. Trevor, thank you for your undying trust and kindness. Michelle, thank you for believing in me, and my ideas. Thank you for your support, your trust, and giving me the confidence I needed at times. Thank you for being an unwavering champion of social justice for all, especially English learners like me. With that, I bid the Romoland School District the best in the years to come. God bless. Isabel Solis. And that is the only comment we have for tonight.
Thank you, and congratulations on her retirement. Next, we're moving to the Employee Association reports. And Mr. Murray, will you share the reports with the Board of Trustees?
I will do just that. Can you hear me just fine?
Yes, can. Thank you.
Perfect. The first one's from Mary Wigman, the RTA president, and her statement is, on behalf of the RTA membership, I would like to thank all the stakeholders in the district for being proactive from the beginning of this unfortunate global event. It was appreciated to see the teamwork and implementing of a plan to get our students and staff safe then followed by taking care of our students' learning needs by launching the technology and packets needed to accomplish this goal. The constant updates kept us all informed and were reassuring. In this trying time, the flexibility shown by all staff has helped us handle the situation easier. The RTA membership will continue to make contact with students and their families and assist any way possible. We will provide engaging activities for all students to continue their learning during this difficult time. We all know that the end of this is around the corner, and I believe the future will be inspiring for all of us. And I have a following statement from Ramona Massey, who is the CSEA president. And her statement is as follows. I hope all of you are doing well and that your families are healthy and safe. I would like all of you to know from my perspective that both Mr. Payton and Mr. Murray have done an exceptional job communicating with CSEA in regards to the closures that would impact and will continue to impact our sites and staff. Their concern to protect staff, students, and our community has been their guidance during the decision-making process. Keeping classified staff updated regularly has prevented additional stress during these uncertain times. I continue to be in contact with Mr. Murray on a regular basis as business is still moving forward and preparations for the closing and opening of the new school year begins. During this crisis, Romoland is fortunate to have these leaders. Thank you and stay safe, stay home, wash your hands, and if you must be out, mask up. And those are the statements. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we wish them to stay safe and healthy. We're going to move on now to the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are approved in one motion. Do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
I'll second.
Great. And all in favor? I'm going to call on each of you one at a time. Mr. Gary?
Aye.
Madam President,
Yes.
I'd like to pull the item J4, certificated personnel, and make a comment, please.
Sure.
Usually at the end of the year, we like to recognize our retirees. I mean, that's just what we do. And unfortunately, Isabel Solis couldn't be here in order to be recognized, but I wanted to go on record, and some other board members might have comments as well. But I've known Isabel since I became a board member, and I've known her as an advocate for her students, all students. I don't care whether they're second language learners or not. She is an advocate for kids. And she found me as a board member right away and let me know of her great ideas. And one of them is to get our kids reclassified into English. She has passion. She has vision. Like I said, she's an advocate. She has this energy about her and the love for students. There's so much to say about Isabel. She was a valuable asset to our district. And some teachers enter in education and becoming educators, and they leave maybe having a little impact, maybe not. Her impact will be felt, and her absences, I should say, will be felt next year because we will miss her. And I just wanted to honor her with that. And I'm so sorry that we have to end this year in her career not being able to honor her in front of the school board. That's all.
Thank you so much. And I can't agree more. Any other comments before we go to voting?
I'd just like to add one more thing to what Marla said. Miss Solis has done such a great job in our district to this point. I have my day job. I'm learning from her, and I'm taking some of the work that she's doing and using it on my day-to-day work. Lastly, I want to say I have firsthand knowledge of the love and the care that she has for our kids, because my son Chandler was in her class. And I just the other day, we were cleaning up something, and we came across a book that Miss Solis makes for every single one of her classes each year, with kids having their pictures in them and some of the work they've done. And I took a picture of it and sent it to her, and send it to Chandler, and he had very fond memories of being in Miss Solis's class. So thank you, Miss Solis, from a parent as well as a board member.
Great. Any other comments? Are we ready to now vote? So Mr. Aguirre, you already voted aye. Mrs. Kleitz,
Aye.
Mr. Reller,
Aye.
Mr. Sperry,
Aye.
and Mrs. Moon, aye. Now we're going to move on to the action items. The first one is K1, Resolution number 13, 2019-2020. Authorization needed to take any and all necessary actions to prepare and respond effectively to the novel coronavirus, COVID-19. Resolution by the Board of Trustees of the Romoland School District declaring emergency conditions exist at the Romoland schools and offices. Ms. Cole to explain.
Sure. So this resolution positions the district to seek financial and other kinds of assistance from FEMA, from the federal government, should that become necessary as a result of COVID-19.
Board members, are there any comments or questions?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor, I'll call on you each again. Mr. Aguirre,
Aye.
Mrs. Kleitz,
Aye.
Mr. Reller,
Aye.
Mr. Sperry,
Aye.
and myself, aye. K2, Romoland School District representatives to the SELPA Community Advisory Council, and Ms. Wise will explain.
This item is an opportunity for parents in our school community who are parents of students with disabilities to have the opportunity in a leadership and advisory position to be able to represent Romoland School District through Riverside County SELPA.
Do any board members have a comment or question? Do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. And all in favor, I'll call on each of you. Mr. Aguirre,
Aye.
Mrs. Kleitz,
Aye.
Mr. Weller,
Aye.
Mr. Sperry,
Aye.
and Mrs. Moon, aye. K3, Resolution number 12, 2019-2020, authorization to encumber funds for new fiscal year 2021. Ms. Cole to explain this item.
Yes, this is a resolution that you see on an annual basis. It's required by the County of Riverside, and it allows us to begin making purchases for the upcoming fiscal year, in this case, 2021, prior to July 1st.
Do any board members have any comments or questions? Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
And all in favor, I'll call on each of you. Mr. Aguirre,
Aye.
Mrs. Kleitz,
Aye.
Mr. Reller,
Aye.
Mr. Sperry,
Aye.
and Mrs. Moon, aye. K4, California State University San Marcos Community Partnership Agreement. Mr. Murray to explain.
Yes. So this community partnership agreement with Cal State University San Marcos would allow for fieldwork opportunities for students in their early childhood education program. It's similar to our student teacher intern programs that we have for the upper grades, but this is definitely within or exclusively within the state preschool or Head Start programs. So I think it's a great program to kind of expand the reach of, bringing future professionals into our district.
I think this is really great. Do any board members have comments or questions? Okay, do I have a motion to approve? Gary, did you have a question?
No, I was going to make a motion to approve.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. And all in favor, Mr. Gary,
Aye.
Mrs. Kleitz,
Aye.
Mr. Reller,
Aye.
Mr. Sperry,
Aye.
and Mrs. Moon, aye. K5, Memorandum of Understanding with the California School Employees Association, Local 499, for the coronavirus response. Mr. Murray to explain?
This is a MOU, an agreement with our local CSEA unit. And basically it details how the district's response to the coronavirus pandemic impacts our CSEA membership. All the represented employees within CSEA are covered by this agreement. And we think it's a good thing just to kind of put on paper the protections that our classified employees have.
Excellent. Do any board members have any comments or questions? Do I hear a motion to approve?
A motion.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, Mr. Gary,
Aye.
Mrs. Kleitz,
Aye.
Mr. Reller,
Aye.
Mr. Sperry,
Aye.
and myself, aye. K6, tentative agreement between the Romoland Teachers Association and the Romoland School District. Mr. Murray to explain this item.
This is a tentative agreement with Romoland Teachers Association, very limited in scope. What it does, it allows our middle school teachers to provide some period coverage when we have absent staff. And what we have now is the first 2 times they do it per year, it's kind of like a donation of time to the district. And we thought it's more appropriate if they're putting the extra time and effort into their workday that they be compensated as they would be from the 3rd period coverage and on. So this is why we're coming to this agreement, just to have them paid for their 1st and 2nd period coverages over the course of a school year.
I think this is excellent. Any board members have comments or questions? Do I hear a motion to approve?
A
A
motion.
motion.
And do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, Mr. Gary,
Aye.
Mrs. Kleitz,
Aye.
Mr. Reller,
Aye.
Mr. Sperry,
Aye.
and myself, Ms. Moon, aye. Okay. The regular, or let's see, as board member closing comments. Call on each member. Mr. Gary, any closing comments?
No comment.
Mrs. Kleitz?
No comment other than Trevor, you and your staff just keep on doing the bang up job you've been doing.
Mr. Reller?
None.
Mr. Sperry?
No comments.
And myself, just a heartfelt message of stay safe and healthy. And again, a big thank you to everyone with the Romoland School District. So our regular board meeting is adjourned at 7:04 p.m.